I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM23 Youth Factory, episode 44. We're coming up on a match with YoVille Town, who currently are first in the league. Well, we're only fifth. We've had a really bad run of form. It was sparked by some injuries and suspensions, and we've not quite been able to get out of that rut yet. Morale's not bad. It's been a struggle. We had been comfortably first, and we're looking like we were going to pull away, and then we were suddenly down 5 players. And we were suddenly in an FA Cup match against a higher division opponent, and next thing we knew, we're struggling to score points. Just like that. Before we get to that match, which is later today, I'm getting offered a job, or at least interview, for Coventry. I'm not going to take it. There's no way I'm taking it. I'm definitely not doing the interview, but it's a great sign of the progress that we have made in the game, that for the first time, a team is coming after us. It's strange to see a home match not in front of a full crowd, but we are in a borrowed stadium, and remember, we're, over an hour away from home for this one? It's a bit of a drive this season, and it's a bit strange, but for now, we still, I have not gotten any word on the pending stadium deal. We have, I don't have an option to request anything from the board, which means the board's already thinking about it. They're already working on it. They're already planning something. They're still in that planning phase, though, as Mortland gives that one away. So he tries to break the back line. Chadwick into the box. Long shot there, just high. It scrapes the back end of the net. That was the first shot of the game. Big opportunity for us here because, well, we've been struggling with form. I think that's the more important thing right now than necessarily the gap between us and YoVille. But 3 points here would obviously put us in a better position and close that gap on them and, stamp our authority. A draw under the circumstances would be perfectly appropriate, as Berchielli makes the stop from close range, but he just knocks it down in front of him 5 yards, and they pounce on it first. So Berchielli should have slapped that up and over the crossbar. He does not, and we suffer mightily for it. We trail 1-0 in a very balanced game. Our last game finished 1-1, where we had 2+ XG and our opponent had 0.3. And it finished 1-1. So we've had a bit of bad luck along the way in this stretch. This time Berchielli goes up, hangs onto the ball, uses 2 hands. Thornhill gives that away. This is coming down to poor individual play, but also the fact that as we climb the ladder, the opposition is getting better and better across the board. Not one team, not 2 teams, but an entire league worth of teams that are better than what we were playing previously. We are better than what we had previously, but not at the same rate, not at the same scale. We're good enough to be a promotion playoff team, but we are suddenly finding ourselves weak against the best teams in the league. Like here, where suddenly we trail by 2 when they've only had 4 attempts all game. They've only had 0.4 XG. We have almost 0.4 XG, and yet we're down by 2 goals. So for the really second game in a row, we're not massively outplaying them, but we're not being outplayed, and yet they're getting goals that aren't there, that don't exist, that aren't being properly generated, but are happening anyway. Mortland, the only player with a decent rating right now on the entire squad. We do have everyone motivated for the second half, but what can they do? Arakunle. I guess we did have 1 yellow card before halftime. I didn't pay attention closely to who it was, so that's not threatening. Mary looked offside, but no flag raised. Nope, there it is. Okay. Boy, they nearly made it 3. Very early in the second half. That obviously would have been a game over scenario. There would have been no coming back from that. But now suddenly we haven't had our next highlight for 20 minutes. Going attacking. Thornhill. And Penreese does not get there. I do have a substitution that I need to make. Hassel. Webb. Hassel's coming back from injury. We're getting back to a full squad, by the way. Getting closer, finally. It's just happened. Getting players able. Sumahoro from close range, and we do get one back, and the change has not happened. Let's make that change happen. So Kamara with the throw-in. Kamara getting the start. Thornhill over the top. Nice ball, Sumahoro. Good first touch. And then just beats keeper near post. Keeper does not move enough to close out the angle. But again, if he closes out the angle too much from there, the opposite post becomes completely wide open. So suddenly, it's a 2-1 game. And I'm guessing, based on the fact that they've done absolutely nothing besides an offside play. Oh, come on. That was onside this time. Just as I'm saying that they've literally done nothing in this second half, Atkins gives it away from close range. This is right after the restart. Right after the restart. And they come out of nowhere and score another one to restore their 2-goal lead and double their XG from what they had. They had the one. Oh my goodness. Oh, folks, we got some work to do. We're going to go ahead and sub a struggling Adekunle out. Even though it's stoppage time, it's a little late, but people are going to be upset if I don't make those kind of subs for the most struggling players. Now, we've not been played off the pitch here. We've been as close, if not closer than them, to scoring. There is absolutely nothing in... This is a game that should have finished 1-1. Those 2 goals in the first half were really garbage goals, and it was on the team that they couldn't pull it together, that they allowed those. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Oh, Webb. Clearance off the line. He beat the keeper there. A little chip, but... XG. Both teams really close to 1. It should have been a 1-1 game. Frustration is definitely what I'm feeling right now, because we're better than this. The result after result recently, we're not getting outplayed by teams, but we're suddenly unable to get results. So is it time to switch out the assistant manager? Is it time to have a talk with the team behind closed doors? I mean, their morale wasn't overtly bad. It's just we cannot get out of this slump at the moment. That opens up the gap the wrong direction, and now we are 9 points behind YoVille and down to 6th place. We still have a healthy gap behind us, so I'm not too worried about any of that, but we're very much locked into a 5th, 6th, and the goal differential suggests we are right where we belong at the moment. But of course, the play recently has been frustrating. We should easily have +4 to 6 more goals, and we should easily have at least another 6 points or so than what we do have based on this recent form, and should be a little bit higher up, a little bit more in that mix at the very least. We have spent most of the season highest on the injury table by some margin. I mean, like the second worst team had fewer than half the injuries that we had. So yes, we have absolutely had some bad luck. It's not been all just bad form, but we are finding things a little more difficult at this level, for sure. Next up, we are into the FA Trophy with Workington as the opponent. They're a tier below us. It should be comfortable, but this is 3 days after the YoVille match, so where are we at mentally? Also, Kitching just went down for 2 weeks, offside there. Ball on the back of the net, but definitely offside. Didn't seem close. That's offside again. Is the flag going to be raised this time? Yes, it is. two big offside plays in just a few minutes to start the game. You can tell what the intent is, play style for them, as they're trying to get their number 9 behind the lines. Davidson, who gets the start today. Little squad rotation out of necessity. It's a 3-day turnaround, and all these injuries, the heavy match load, and trying to avoid issues. Adekunle, tries to cut in. Defense plays it well. Atkins, nice recovery. Davidson, close range, and there's a goal. First shot of the game goes in the back of the net. Thornhill takes the second attempt of the game and nearly puts it in the back of the net. Had a little too much space away from the posts there that allowed the keeper to make a decent stop, but it did require a decent stop at that. Uh-oh. Bad clearance there. Dice. Ooh, gosh, we had an easy recovery there, but fortunately the layoff pass, the shot was lacking power and control, as it basically chipped up and over the bar. Sumahoro through 4 defenders, a 5th defender, and then Davidson gets a beautiful chance. Tight angle, not the easiest angle, but he should have done better with that one. Thornhill, oh gosh, we overrun it. Atkins, that would have been a free header at the far post. McFadden in space. Hassel. Now Mortland, back to McFadden. Oh, but he lays it off instead of taking it in. The ball over the top for Sumahoro. Looked like he might have been offside. Might have gone early there. Not sure how we don't get an offside flag raised there, as they had 2 players behind our last man. It's not about their one player being even further offside. That doesn't play him on. Played 25. Thornhill does not win that header. Gives them a chance, and Bertielli forced to make a stop. Should have held on to that one. That ball didn't have enough power on it and was close enough to Bertielli in the first place. And he just bunny hopped. Not exactly a challenging save. Moreland's going to play that off the defender and out for the throw-in. But again, that wasn't ideal either. XG, very much favoring us. 0.74 to their 0.2. But they have built some momentum here. They are getting some shots. Workington is working us, for sure. Moreland. Atkins. Moreland on a yellow. Davidson over the top again. Sumahoro. Oh, wow. They needed to play that low. Sumahoro, there it is. And yes, what a smart goal from Sumahoro. Oh, the keeper comes in hard to try to get to that ball first. You're going to see this kind of almost 50-50 situation here between Sumahoro and the keeper. And Sumahoro recognizes the keeper coming out at him. Absolutely no power on it. That's all inside of the foot, and just dinks it back to what is now his far post. Near post off the initial ball in, and hits it where the keeper ain't. Oh, good idea on that through ball. Not quite enough weight on it. But it's 2-0 just before half. Webb. Adekunle. Can't get his defender to bite, but Sumahoro recovers, and really great find to get Davidson, who is definitely onside on that play. Earns the corner. That was a big stop from the keeper to stop it from being 3. Mortland finds Davidson. Davidson, long-range shot. And we should be heading to halftime here in just a moment. But they're going to get another free kick. We've seen a lot of those today. A lot of free kicks. Fortunately, only Mortland on a yellow. We're going to have to watch out for that one. This is looking like one of those kind of days where a second yellow card could be a game changer for either team, as we're seeing lots and lots of set pieces. We've been called for 8 fouls. They've been called for 4. So really, it's not that bad. It's only 12 fouls so far and 1 yellow card. We're just seeing the highlight of each. Ratings-wise, it's the players on top that are picking up the best ratings, plus Atkins. Defense not having the best of days right now. We have given up 6 attempts, 5 on target. I mean, they've been really good with that, but with only 0.24 XG despite 5 shots on target and 6 shots overall, that means it's a lot of long-range kind of stuff. It's a lot of weak headers or long-range. You know, it's the kind of shots that don't trouble a keeper very often, but they're getting looks. They are getting looks, which means this game's not over yet, folks. It's not over yet. 2-goal lead, probably justified. I mean, we've played well over 1 on the XG at this point. I don't suspect that we can get 2 more goals in the second half, but maybe we can scrape together 1 more if we can put together a half similar to what we did in the first. And hopefully at this point, I'm predicting something like 3-1. So, Mortland, not expected to last. Hassel, still only cleared to play 75. And with the injury to Kitching, it's not Webb who's on the bench. It's that young player who we replaced Evans with, who's only had that 1 appearance off the bench so far. But has already progressed thanks to that 1 few minutes. So he's going to get a little more time today. He's going to get at least 15 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer. We'll see what the score line is as we approach that point. If we happen to grab a goal here in the next few minutes, I'll make that sub right away. But now we've played an hour, so at this rate, probably going to hold off till about 70. And we're coming up on that now. Hassel, yep. Well, let's go ahead and bring on Mark Walker. And he is on. Mortland's still on a yellow. We might want to get him out of there. Oh, wow, so close. I don't have a defensive mid backup today. Oh, I have Thornhill. But I don't have a backup for Thornhill. Somebody would have to play out of position, which would be worrying, to say the least. Kunle finds Thornhill, finds Mortland. That's a look you want. He didn't get a whole lot of power on that. Tried to go a little bit more for finesse. He was bending it outside the post. It was coming back towards the post. I think it might have hit the post if the keeper didn't stop it. That was a good shot from range for Atkins, but the keeper makes a stop. Big tackle there. It looked clean, but actually the ref signaled advantage. We have that advantage. Still have possession. Now McFadden again. Nobody made the run. McFadden was certainly looking for it. Here he is again. Cuts in, switches. Atkins in space. Now Mortland. Now we find Adekunle inside, and we settle for the long-range shot, which is definitely not the game plan. I understand, though, after so long of not being able to work it inside, eventually somebody's got to just do something, and that's what we ended up seeing, but we give it away. 89th minute. Okay, let's go ahead and do that last sub here, or the safety sub. We're going to get Thornhill to drop in, and we're going to get... No, Lanahan Penrice is going to rest, so Kasango Matumbo is going to come in and play a little bit out of position here. Walker, nice header there. Well played. McFadden into some space, finds Davidson. He runs, takes it to the edge line, finds Sumahoro. It takes a deflection on that shot, but we recover the ball. Mortland, Atkins. Not what we're looking for. He's done that a few times today. Atkins. Offside? Must have been offside. Okay, sub has happened. Stoppage time. We've got about a minute left. And this should do it. Adekunle. Redknapp. Back for Adekunle. Now Sumahoro. Nice control. Thornhill blasts it. Guys, you're not understanding clock management here. We don't have to be setting up time wasting for you to understand that there's 30 seconds to go. You don't need to blast a long-range shot when you're up 2-0. I don't have to change tactics for that. That should be common sense. Atkins, very tired. Well, Walker, not a great clearance there, but clearance nonetheless. Decent play for the low-rated player who only gets a 6.6, but I think that's because he came on pretty late. Defense, good ratings today. Team across the board, other than Adekunle and Mortland for that matter, had good ratings, and they didn't have bad ratings. 6.9. Percielia, nice 7.7. Well played today. They only had a single attempt in the second half. One shot. Love to see it. Finally back to winning ways, but it's only FA Trophy progression, which really doesn't matter to me that much. It's the league that we need to get the ball rolling again, but is this a step towards returning to form? Pushing forward 3 matches following that FA Trophy match, We beat Worthing on the road 2-0. We beat Sudbury 3-0 at home, and then we lose 2-0 to Bromley. But in that loss, for one thing, it was the only team in the top 7 or 8 places that we went up against over the stretch. But then also, on top of it, we totally outplayed them. The ratings don't look like it. I mean, it looks like we had a really bad game besides Moreland. We had majority of the possession, we had majority of the shots, and we had the vast majority of the XG. We had about a goal and a half worth of XG. They had about 0.3 XG and yet scored 2 goals. We got FM'd. We got FM'd. Home matches right now we're getting 1,400. It's okay, I guess. But we've got 3 more matches here. Eastbourne Borough is 12th. There's Gosport. That's a big one coming up. And Hemel Hempstead. Before we head into a Horsham match for the 4th round of the FA Trophy. And once again, that's a team in the division just below us. We have lost, and it was just after the Worthing game, we have lost Lanahan Penrith to a fractured lower arm that's going to see him out for a number of weeks, probably at least through January. It's not the worst thing in the world, actually, because he's like a 107 current ability, meaning he could garner attention. Out injured, that's going to stop that attention, and that'll put it past the transfer deadline date. We've had a lot of attention through the month of December from the 5th tier because they don't have the transfer window, but none of them can afford our players either, so they offer something within the value range and they don't exceed it. One thing that has done is at least 2 players, maybe a third, Sumahoro in particular, got a bit pissed off that we didn't bother to say yes and sell them to move up 1 division. For Bennies, they don't get it. They just don't get it. Or I just don't get it. They want to play at a higher level. Duh, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the whole team to that higher level. Not just the selfish a-hole who's like, wait, this isn't out for me. Yeah. No, anyway. I get it. I get why they want to go up. Anyway, tough stretch because we only have 1 home game over the next 3, and it's against a top team in the league. We could struggle to get some points. The form was starting to look better. If the Bromley one did not go against the run of play, you could almost argue that we're there, that we're back, because if you exclude the Bromley thing, the YoVille loss is the only one we've had over a stretch. That would have been, 9 matches, kind of the FA Trophy ones, where we hadn't lost. Those 3 draws, yeah, they hurt. But a couple of those were against better teams, and you could almost forgive and forget and say, hey, we're getting there. We're coming along. We're back to 5th. We're back to within 2 points of Gosport, who we're going to play here shortly. Just squeezing ahead of Weymouth by 1 point. Bromley, we just lost that game where we outplayed them, just 2 points behind us. But then there is a drop to outside of that playoff zone. So, it's not all bad. And we're still just the 9 points behind. So YoVille managed to lose 1 of their 3 matches over this stretch. Or, no, they didn't. They've only played 2 games over the stretch, I think, because they have a game in hand on us. So, never mind that thought. But either way, we're continuing to do well in the FA Trophy. We've had a lucky set of draws there that's giving us a favorable run. And things are looking a little bit better in the league. We do have some depth at that left wing, so even though we are missing our best player in Lanahan Penrith, we do have Davidson to back him up. We do have Wilkinson to back him up, so we definitely have options there. We now have 2 players over 100 current ability. The number of players in the 90s, they're all improving. They're getting a little bit better. The number of players in the 80s is definitely getting better. Kamara, in fact, when I just checked about a day or 2 ago, he was an 80. And I was making the mental note that I was going to let you know about it, and he's already progressed another to an 81. Wilkinson has very much stalled in the 70s for ages, and that's kind of why he's slowly relegated from being a regular starter to Lanahan Penreese became the full-time starter to he was the solid backup who the AI occasionally picked to then he just stopped playing. He's made 13 appearances off the bench though, so the AI still likes to have him as the backup. Very much still likes to have him as the backup. Meanwhile, for me, it's Davidson who's getting that call. But Davidson has 10 starts, 13 appearances off the bench, and has absolutely already eclipsed Wilkinson in terms of quality. But Walker's reached a 60. His problem is he just doesn't have the potential, right? He's going to get 6 or 7 more points. He's training well. He's a good guy, but he's just got limited potential. He'll never be more than a backup for us, but in lieu of not having a quality backup, he'll be our backup for quite a while. Like I said, he's already significantly better than Evans ever was, so it was a good move. It was a good move to make that change. Even though Evans had potential, he wasn't going anywhere. Duncan, Arthur, both making little bits of progress, but none of those guys have played a lot. I'm the only one who selected Walker twice now. Another game in which we've dominated has ended in a draw. So we are dropping points once again and really not quite finding that form just yet. And of course, the absence of Lanahan Penreese could be impacting how things are going here of late. But Gosport is 4th in the league. We are 5th in the league. We cannot catch them, though. We're 4 points behind. So even with a win, we'll still be behind them in the standings. But what a difference that would make, as we'd be 1 point behind. If we lose, we're 7 behind them all of a sudden. Even if we draw, we're still well behind at 4. So it'd be nice to finally overcome one of the top teams in this league, as we could and should be. And at the beginning of the season, we certainly were, as Davidson. Big chance there, big recovery run from that defender to get the block in on that and force the corner. We've already played half an hour, by the way. Mortland, ooh. Poor touch. Fortunately, that was just out for a throw. That was our first shots on of the game, by the way. Now this thing is looking like it could fizzle into a goalless draw, at least from this first half play. Would certainly explain a lot as to why they haven't done anything, but there's a bit of a chance. Oh, they get it in. We clear it out. Davidson could have taken that under control, didn't realize he had so much space, and eventually it leads to a weak shot that Berchielli easily covers, and that was their only shot on target. And that was the only shot on target of the first half. Despite that boring first half draw, I do have the entire team, all 11 players, fired up for the second half. Let's hope that that can translate into a bit of an edge here. Hassel, interception. And we've already played 5 minutes. Mortland, as always, on a yellow. Webb on a yellow. Webb got the start today over Kitching because of necessity for squad rotation. There's just too much play going on from these guys. A lot of fatigue. A lot of them are on heavy match load. We only have the one injury at the moment, which is huge for us. It's a free kick, dangerous moment. Berchielli, though, grabs that one. He came well off his line to get that, too. Came a long ways to get that ball. Impressive play. Davidson finds McFadden on the run. Davidson re-intercepts, cuts inside, takes the shot himself. Straight at the keeper, though. Ooh, Berchielli sweeping, coming out real deep there. Okay, we are controlling the second half, by the way. It's been all us. They have done absolutely nothing. 0.02 XG. Redknapp. Adekunle. Oof. Nice through ball there. Redknapp, though, he tucks it back. And then, Mortland just keeps it. Adekunle. Switch to Sumahoro. And, wow, what a save. Huge save there. Lots of yellow cards all of a sudden. Now there's 3. Thornhill. That's deflected. Davidson. Had a real chance to hit an overlap for McFadden and didn't do it. I thought as he opened his body that way. Sumahoro's offside. Hits the underside of the crossbar anyway. He missed it. Only 2 shots on target. Otherwise, this would be us today. This would be us. Let's go attacking for the last few minutes. We've been in control of this second half. See if we can snatch the 3 points. Sumahoro might have been offside there. Flag is raised. Yes, he was. And a stoppage. No subs. It's a little late. It'll take away time. Let these guys kind of finish off what they're doing. The highlights have gone a little too fast to make Phillips's offside. No flag raised, though. Oh, the play's allowed to continue. And then we get the goal kick. Miss a very obvious offside. He was at least 5 yards behind the last man. We are not time wasting, Berchielli. What are you doing? As you kick it straight to the other team. Nice Adekunle. Atkins. Rough switch there. McFadden. Over the top. Nope. Sumahoro was not in that position. That's the game. Goalless draw. Clearly based on the XG. They only had the one attempt in the entire second half, which was more XG than what they had in the first half. I think they were on 0.02, right? And then we get to 0.9. We should have had a goal in there, but if only 2 of those are on target, it's not entirely surprising. Defense had a much better day than the offense today. Sumahoro in particular was very poor, but we didn't lose. At least there's that. We've been really struggling to beat the top teams in the league, and we struggle once again today. That leaves us in a 3-way tie for 5, 6, 7, and with the goal differential, we drop to 6th. Definitely not where we want to be at this stage in the season. Getting healthier, but we're going to be without our best player for a little while. Struggling to find goals has been a roller coaster theme of this season. Off and on, we can't score at all, even when we have 2 goals worth of XG. The finishing just has not been there. Putting the ball in the back of the net. Sumahoro in particular, not consistent enough. I'm curious to check what his XG is looking like. He's actually exceeding his XG. 17 goals with a 13.29 XG. I kind of figured maybe he's missing a lot of chances. Lanahan Penreese is a little under his XG, but only just. Adekunle is a little under his XG. What about that attacking mid? Thornhill. Yeah, we're just not getting enough support. Davidson, when he's in, 5 goals from 7.25 XG. So we are definitely balanced, I guess. I don't know what to say here on why we are suddenly finding it so hard to get goals. But we are definitely finding it hard to get the goals this season. Better defense. Our average ratings are definitely not what they've been. Maybe we're just not producing the XG. I've seen a large number of games, at least recently, where we had plenty of XG, but we just didn't have the goals to show for it. The mystery continues. The journey. At least we're in the playoff zone. Maybe we're not going up this year. Maybe it's going to take 2 years, but kind of in a tricky position because this year we're definitely getting more attention from other teams. But we're not losing guys at the moment anyway. It is January, so this is going to be a really pivotal, important month for us to get through this one in one piece. As in healthy, as in not losing players. Not quite on the healthy part. Lanahan Penreese is injured, but like I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That injury, I think, it will stop him from being sold this January because he should be back early in February, I believe. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.